Hi, we know that toxic cycles bring chaos. And when you're in a relationship and there's chaos, there are no parameters, which means all things go and everything is an option eventually. And that can get to a really scary place. So today I'm going to teach you not only how to take a break, but how to know when to take a break. So stick around and we're going to cover that. Hi, my name is Olivia. I'm passionate about helping you understand what relational trauma is so that you can avoid it, prevent it, heal from it, and overcome it. So today, everything is coming from my book, Have You Had Enough? I will put a QR code on the screen. This is how to break up with your toxic cycle. So notice it's not leaving a person and it's not breaking in a relationship. We're just saying we are sick of feeling helpless. We're sick of feeling disappointed and fed up and frustrated and hopeless. We want to do something different. And when you're in a toxic cycle, chances are you already feel like you've tried everything, because usually you have. You've tried everything you know how to do and nothing works, nothing changes. It's the same fight over and over. Those are all signs that you're in a toxic cycle. So today we're going to talk about how to know when you're in a toxic cycle, how to take a break, when to take a break. So here's the first thing. You want to set some parameters, because if in a toxic cycle it brings chaos, there's no parameters, which means for our behavior, everything's on the table. And you don't want to do that, because you could talk without manners. You could talk in a really disrespectful, harmful, hurtful way. And we don't want to do that with people we love. So the first thing is no yelling. So we're just going to say, okay, no yelling. And even that's for me and the other person. So I'm not going to yell, and I'm also not going to be yelled at. Like, that's like number one, no yelling. So the second that I yell, that's a sign to me that I'm out of control. The second that someone's yelling at me, that's a sign to me that they've now lost control. So if we're losing control, that's part of that chaotic cycle. And so we're not going to do that. We're not going to continue in this moment in the conversation when there's yelling. Okay, the second one is no name calling. When we are name calling, again, that's part of the chaos. That's us trying to gain control again, and we're trying to do it through intimidation. That's why we're calling a name, and it's not okay. So that's even like brat, jerk, cow, wagon, any name you're going to call that might seem a bit less cruel or more benign, not so violent or no profanity. It's still not okay. It still counts as a name. So we're saying just no name calling. That's like even dumb, idiot, anything like that. So if we are calling a name, again, part of the chaos, we're not going to continue on this track. We're not going to keep with the conversation for this moment. So that was number two, no name calling. And the third one is no interrupting. So if someone's talking and we find ourselves interrupting, that's part of the chaos, because we all know what happens when we interrupt, right? It's like you're talking and I'm going to interrupt. So now you got to talk louder. Then I got to go louder with my interruption. And before we know it, we are definitely yelling and screaming and probably furious, because as we're yelling, we're getting more and more, every part of us getting more amped up, more sped up. And we don't want to do that. We want to stay calm and be able to have a logical, kind-hearted conversation. Can't do that if we're interrupting, right? That usually, think of yourself. Do you like being interrupted? I don't think anyone likes being interrupted. It can make you pretty mad pretty fast. It can make me pretty mad pretty fast. So those are the three big ones: no yelling, no name calling, and no interrupting. So once we start to define these parameters, we're kind of bringing order back to the conversation, and it's less chaotic. Now, not everything is on the table. We have definitive things that cannot be on the table for us to have this conversation. So now we know, okay, these are when I need to take a break. If there is yelling, if there's name calling, if there's interrupting, that means we need to take a break. So here's how to successfully take a break. And it's difficult because taking a break takes trust. So if I am the one who's like, we're finally going to have this conversation. You finally agreed to sit here and talk to me about this. Well, if you're like, that's it, it's getting too loud, I'm taking a break, I'm not going to want to let you go, because it took so long for you to come here. So then I'm going to be like a dog with a bone, and I'm going to want to keep you here, even if it is to keep you here fighting, because at least now we're finally talking about it. So knowing that, it's like, okay, a break takes trust. There has to be some level of trust. And if we haven't talked about things, if we have been in a toxic cycle for so very long, they break trust big time. So we have to agree outside of a heated moment what a break will look like. You can't wait for the middle of a heated moment and then say, oh yeah, let's try taking a break, or just announce that you're taking a break. That's going to add to the level of stress, right? That's going to be a stressor rather than like a valve release. So in a calm time, you would say something like, hey, you know what? There's something called taking a break. The next time that we're going to that it gets heated between us because we both don't want to keep doing this with each other, we want to do something healthy, let's try taking a break. So one of us says, okay, it's a break, and we just leave it at that. Whoever wants a break, we just accept for any reason that we need to take a break. And then we're going to say 20 minutes. You have to decide what works for you. 20 minutes seems to be a pretty good amount of time, but again, it depends on the level of intensity. So if we're discussing a recent affair versus, how we want to do the backyard, probably going to need a different time of a break in between, for both crises. This is really not a crisis, but a crisis compared to a problem that just needs to be solved or managed. So breaks can be different lengths of time, but on average, if it's just like the regular rigmarole of life, then we say, okay, 20 minutes. Also, depending on a person's history, their level of trauma, they may need longer to calm down. So that's okay too. So there's no written in stone number of minutes. This is what I mean. You have to do what works for you. But if you're like, okay, let's just say 20 minutes. We agree 20 minutes ought to do it. So then it would be, okay, so we have 20 minutes and we'll just get up and walk away, be away from each other, go do something different, whatever it is anybody wants to do, clean out a car, stretch, walk around the neighborhood, start a project in the backyard, whatever it is, clean out the refrigerator, do something physical, take a break from each other, wait that 20 minutes, and when you come back to it, then we're going to try it again. So it's really good to have a place that you say you're going to meet back at and a number of minutes that you're going to do it. Because we break trust when we say, I need a break, but we don't say when we're going to come back to the conversation, and we don't say where the conversation's going to happen, because then it's just like weird. We took a break and now I'm waiting for you to come back, or are you waiting for me? Are we ever going to talk about this again? And then it's like we're going to crack a joke and watch a movie and go to bed. That's also part of that cycle. So we don't want to do that. We want to be responsible. We want to show our partners that we are here to work on things together. Or even with our child. If it's a child you're in a toxic cycle with, then you say, okay, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to set a timer for 20 minutes. When it's done, we will be responsible. We'll both come back and sit at the table. So if you agree to this, you have to be an adult and you have to get your behind back to the table if that's what you're deciding to do. It's not someone else's job to track us down, and it's not your job to track someone down. So if you said 20 minutes and you're at the table, be responsible for yourself and let others be responsible for them. So now we've said 20 minutes, we go back to the table, we're talking again, someone yells, take a break. Early on, you're going to probably find you're going to need more breaks initially, but over time, it just becomes a way of relating rather than the toxic cycle way of relating, and you tend to need less breaks. So if you want to go the distance in whatever relationship type this is, you are so much better off to see those breaks as an opportunity to grow together than it is as an attack or a liability or a threat. Breaks are not a threat. We have to get to a place where we're seeing them as a good thing, because that's what's going to help us to build trust and give us the foundation to be able to communicate. So they're a powerful, important part of a relationship, and most of us have no idea how to do it. So again, it's just, what's on the table, off the table, no yelling, no name calling, and no interrupting. And then if one of those things happens, whoever says take a break, that's it. No more, why do you need to take a break? Well, I don't want to take a break. Well, nope. If someone says take a break, you honor it. You take a break. You do the 20 minutes, whatever you decide. You set a timer. You go back to the table and you try it again, and you take as many breaks as you need. And remember, breaks are your friend. Breaks are good. That's how you're going to build trust. So again, I would mention it's also how you could break trust if you're the one that says take a break, but you never set a timer and you aren't responsible and you don't go back to the table. Because guess what? Your partner or the other person is not going to want you to take a break because they know you're not going to talk again. So we have to, kind of like Annie up, do what we got to do to show that we're in it and we're willing participants. So all of this comes from Have You Had Enough? I will put the QR code and a link in the description. There's also a simple worksheet. I'll put the QR code on the screen that you can go get on my website. And there is a course available as well. Everything's in the description. I'll put some more videos on the screen that you can go and watch to give yourself even more information on not just toxic cycles, but lots of relational trauma info as well. Take good care. I'm wishing you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one.